Like, tell me about your childhood a little bit. Like, take me back to like, yeah, no.
I know, like I'm thinking. Okay.
But sometimes it's so interesting.
I think, seriously, it will just come to me. So, my name is Joy. Do I have to say that?
No.
Okay. Scratch. Okay.
Welcome to the Mapuana Reed Show. Today we have with us this beautiful woman, Joy Smith. She is the founder of Communion by Joy, which is a jewelry line that is absolutely so beautiful that I love. And she's going to take us on her journey on becoming, and also we're going to talk a bit about intertwining business and spirituality. So Joy, take me on your journey on becoming.
Well, thank you for having me here, Mapu. I'm so excited. So to just tell you my story about myself. And so I'll start where I grew up. I grew up in Los Angeles, specifically in the San Fernando Valley, to two immigrant parents who came from the Philippines. And I grew up in this really special neighborhood that were all Filipinos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What area was this at?
It's kind of, I don't know if it's like Panorama City.
Okay.
You never heard of Panorama City?
Yeah.
It's kind of near like Van Nuys area.
Yeah. Okay.
And so there was, I don't even know if they planned this, but there was just like a huge community of Filipinos there. And so they had a development, and basically all the people who bought around this development were, the majority of them were Filipinos. And so I grew up in a very idyllic like place where all, like it feels like so much like living here in Hawaii. Like all, even though I wasn't related to the people there, they're like my aunties and my uncles. And my best friend, May, she was my next door neighbor. And we grew up together, and basically all the kids who lived in that area, we all were very close, and still to this day are my close best friend, childhood friends. And I just found that like really special, and I think it really ingrained, I'm so grateful because it ingrained a lot of like stability inside of me. And just the friendships that I had there, and growing up in that area, feeling very safe to play and creativity. Basically, I remember, see, I was already an entrepreneur pretty young. I remember my friend and I, we would get rocks from, planters or whatever, and we would basically paint them. And then we would go around our neighborhood and try to sell them. I really don't think anyone bought our rocks. I don't even remember, but we did.
These are special rocks.
Like, these are special, these are special rocks, hand painted.
Yeah.
And so we would do that. And I wasn't afraid to do that because, everyone there I knew. So it fostered a sense of like entrepreneurship, I think, really on inside of myself. And not only did we sell rocks, we would make like paper airplanes and paint those and try to sell those. So anyway, I really loved growing up where I was. It was a really special place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did that lead into, okay, so you were there in California, and then when did you move to Hawaii?
I moved to Hawaii, it's almost like 5 years now.
Oh, so this whole time prior to this, you were in California?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you were here longer.
Oh no, we moved here during the pandemic.
Okay.
So basically that was a whole nother story, and like how, I'll just tell you the quick version. My family, we love Hawaii, and my cousin, she lives in Maui. And so we would always have family reunions in like Maui or come to Oahu or Kauai. And so during the pandemic, my husband, so we would come here almost every year. And so my husband sent me a Zillow, and he goes, what about if we move to Hawaii? Yeah. And I was like, oh, ha, 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 that's so funny. Because I thought that we would eventually move here when we were like retiring or something like that.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be in Los Angeles forever. I never thought I would move anywhere. else, because I just didn't till I was like older. And so he goes, because he also works at home. So I came out of my office and I'm like, oh my God, you just sent me that Zillow. That's so funny. He goes, no, I'm serious. And he's like, I'm serious. It's like, you know, it could be the end of the world. Like, we don't even know what's going on with this like COVID and all this stuff. And why wouldn't we want to be in a place where we love, you know, and we feel connected to? Like, we named our daughter Leilani, you know what I mean? Because we just love Hawaii so much. And so basically he told me I believe it was in April of 2020. And I thought I was going to have time to kind of...
You're like, let me think about it.
Like, let me think about it. And so I thought I was going to have time to like figure out, and I thought he was going to give me like a year. And he goes, nope, you know what? Actually, Leilani's going to be in 6th grade. It's a prime time for her to move, you know, because then she can start fresh. And let's just go now. And this is a time where you had to quarantine for 14 days here.
Yes, in the very beginning.
Yes, and there weren't any direct flights from Los Angeles to Hawaii. You had to go through Seattle. So it's like, wow. So we had to go through Seattle.
I feel like that was like so long ago, but not that long ago. But yeah, I didn't. So I didn't remember it not having the flights. Yeah,
no, because they shut down everything March, right?
Yes.
We ended up flying out end of July of 2020. So that was like right after. And I mean, I was having, when he told me that we're going, like he said we're going. Like I was like, wait, you know, I don't know if I'm ready yet. We immediately, I said, okay, well, he's going. He's like, well, I'm going to leave. Like,
oh my gosh.
You know, like not so like mean, but also like, no, we're going. So I had to figure out like everything. We had our dog, like, you know, I had to like do all these things for the dog so the dog wouldn't get quarantined. Had to like put Leilani into school. And luckily we found a wonderful school, La Pietra, near Diamond Head. And it was easy for her to like just go through that process because it's such a small school. And then, and then we left with 8 luggages.
Wow.
Because we were going to go into like an empty apartment. And we had nothing in there. So we packed, air mattresses, like paper plates, you know, all these
You
things.
brought that?
Yes.
Girl, we have that here.
No, but I didn't even know what to expect. Like, we were just like, we're going to be dumped into a empty apartment with nothing. Like, I wasn't sure how we were going to get, like, stuff.
Right,
Because everything else wasn't going to, they said it would take, like 1 month for our stuff to come over. And so we were, like, with our 8 luggages, our dog, like in the airport, and I just couldn't believe it. And before, you know, when I realized I was going to go, I had like a breakdown. I started crying.
Because California is the only place you've ever really known
as home. The only place, yes, because I went to school in Santa Barbara at UCSB, so it's not like it was so far. Like, it was 2 hours. So, and I had to leave my parents, it was hard. I'm getting emotional about that. So I had this like crying breakdown, and then I called one of my best friends. I'm like, oh my God, we have to go to Hawaii. She goes, you're crying because you have to move to Hawaii? Like, that's like everyone's dream. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. It's beautiful. Like, you know,
breathe. Okay, I'm going to Hawaii.
I'm going to Hawaii, and I love Hawaii. Like, I was just having like an emotional crisis. You know, but
I think the world was changing so much at that time, and there was so much instability that it was just kind of like, what do we expect next? Like, and then to have to go through all of that and move.
Yes, and like with our dog and everything. Like leaving, and I couldn't, because of COVID, I couldn't say goodbye to any of my friends because I didn't want to get COVID.
Did you get to say goodbye to your parents?
I said goodbye to my parents. They're the only people I said goodbye to.
Okay.
But like, we were so afraid of getting COVID before coming over here because we had to, like, we could not. So I just like, I felt like I left in like the night, you know, you know, I didn't really get to say proper goodbyes. And who knows when I'd come back, you know? But I have to tell you, when we as soon as we touched down,
Yeah.
like we got into our apartment. We lived on Wailai Iki.
Okay.
And I looked out into the lanai,
Yeah.
and I saw a huge rainbow.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a sign.
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And I just immediately I felt like, like, oh, I'm supposed to be here. And I have to say, it's true. Like, I feel so at home here. I feel like that my people are here, like you, like Savan, just like everyone. I feel so supported. And even my daughter, like, she loves her school. She's at Iolani right now, and she just loves it. And my husband too. And we even though it felt so uncertain, and I had never done anything like that, I trust now in like uncertainty, and if things just happen to have fell into place, and it was, it was actually easy to like, even though it was COVID, everything was easy. I was the one who was just kind of, oh, I don't know, I'm scared. But once I just kind of let that go, everything just kind of happened and worked out, and it's like the best thing that we've ever done for our family.
Yeah. When did you start your Communion by Joy? Your journey, like that started in California?
Oh yeah, that started in California.
Okay.
So I have been doing this business for over 15 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I started off in public relations.
Okay.
So I worked for DreamWorks in entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought
What did you do? Oh,
I was a publicist. Yeah. So I worked in publicity for DreamWorks. And because I figured after I graduated from college, I knew I was going to move back home. And I thought, oh, well, what am I going to do? I had a communications degree. I thought, oh, well, might as well get into the entertainment business.
Especially in California.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, let's do this.
Yeah. So I thought, okay. And I faxed my resume to, like, when we used to like fax things, I faxed my resume to a bunch of like studios and stuff like that. And I got my first job as an intern at a PR place. And it's so basically like my fax went through, and that's why I trust like the universe. My resume went through, and this girl picked it up and she read it and she goes, oh, I know her. We went to school together in Santa Barbara.
Wow.
Yeah. And so she called me immediately. She's like, hey, I got your resume. We'd love for you to come in. And I just like immediately got the job. Like it was, I just think that if you do, like you just put your channels out there, it will land in like the right spot and someone will see it and
you just have to trust.
You have to trust. So I worked there. And then after that, I got a job at DreamWorks.
Okay.
And then I just kind of went through that entertainment part. And then
At that point, did you feel like that was your dream job?
Yes. I thought I was going to be, like I didn't have any idea, or I never thought I was going to be a jewelry designer. Never thought anything of that. I thought I was going to be in the entertainment business and be like a really amazing publicist or a manager or an agent, right? But I really noticed I loved working with artists, like the actors. Like I made friends with actors, and I thought, wow, what they do is like so cool, and I just realized how much heart they put into the work that they did. And so basically I moved through DreamWorks, and then I just got really burnt out. Like it was really hard.
It is. Yeah.
Hard
The film
job.
industry is like no joke.
No joke.
It is like your life basically.
Yeah. It was so, as much as I loved it, because I was in my early 20s and I had fun and all this stuff, like I noticed I was getting eye infections and like skin rashes. So I went to the doctor, and basically he just told me, oh, this is like stress related. So I decided to quit. Like I thought, I basically looked at one of the higher ups, and I thought, that person does not look happy.
Right? Yeah.
So
they got a lot of money, but like, are you
this
happy?
person does not look happy. And like, I don't think that's going to be my life.
Yeah.
So I, quit, and I just tried to like figure out what am I going to do with my life now.
Yeah. And how old were you at that point?
I was probably like 23.
Okay.
23 years
To be
old.
23 and be
Oh my
like,
gosh.
now what?
Yeah.
Like,
Now what? Now
what am I going to do for the
No, I
rest
had
of my
like
life?
no idea.
Yeah.
And so I
Well,
worked.
who does at 23?
Yeah.
I feel like even
No
at
one
30,
does.
I was just figuring stuff out.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was never one of those who knew, like, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be
Yeah.
this. Like, I honestly had no idea,
Yeah.
like, what I wanted to be. It just, and so after I quit that, I tried to really just so during that time, flashback, when I graduated from college, when I was driving home, right before graduation, I got a really big panic attack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was with my friend driving, and I thought I was going to crash into the divider, and so...
And that was your first panic attack ever?
Ever.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I didn't know that that's what it was. I
Yeah.
thought I was diabetic because I watched Steel Magnolias and I saw Julia Roberts in her chair like shaking, and
You're
I
like,
thought,
oh no, it's
I'm
happening.
like, it's happening. I'm diabetic, and so I basically drove home, and I'm like, whoa, what was that? And the very next day, and why I thought I was diabetic again, the very next day I don't even know if Julia Roberts in that movie was diabetic, but she had some sort of problem. So anyway, I was having my hair done, and it happened again. I started to have like a really bad panic attack. And so
Wow.
basically, they called the mall paramedics.
Okay.
I didn't even know they had like mall paramedics. And he put a foil on me, and he goes, "You're going into shock." And then I really lost it. Then my mom took me to the hospital, and so I'm referencing this because this is kind of how I started my spiritual journey. Mm-hmm. So basically, I went to the hospital, and they said that, okay, this is like a panic attack. Like, the only thing that we can do for you is we can give you this medication, and see if that helps. But something inside of me, I have nothing against medication, but
Yeah.
I knew for myself, like, I want to try a different way first. And so I basically said, no, I don't think I want to take this medication. Let me see if I can, figure out how to like manage this. And so I left there, and I was freaked out of my mind, and I was so scared. Like, I couldn't drive, anywhere because I was afraid to drive. I was living at my parents' house, and I was just like in crisis mode. And I just remember wanting to leave my house, stuck in the doorway, was afraid to be inside, but couldn't go outside. Yeah, it was like, I was like, what's going on? I just graduated from college, and I can't do anything.
I can't leave. I can't
stay.
leave.
Yeah, I can't leave. So that's, I started going on like a spiritual journey, and my friend told me that, maybe yoga will help you. So I started doing a lot of yoga with my friends, and I delved into chanting, and that really it happened slowly that I was able to deal with this anxiety. Like, I slowly was able to drive again and everything like that. And yeah, that kind of just led me to a place of, spirit and trusting and all these things.
Yeah. And then when did you start your business?
And so I started my business, let's see, first I worked at it, after I worked at DreamWorks, I worked at a restaurant. And then after I worked at a restaurant, when I was trying to figure things out, I worked at an art gallery and in Culver City. And when I worked at an art gallery, I started again interacting with artists and painters. And all of a sudden I realized I want to be the artist.
Yeah.
These artists, these painters that I was interacting with were just so inspiring to me. And I thought, I don't know what kind of art I want to do, but I know that I want to be, and just like working with the collectors and the artists, and how the artists were able to just embody beauty and, channeled like something beautiful, and the collectors really feel that. I thought like that's like being of service to humanity for inspiration and for beauty. And then they just really loved what they were doing. So I thought, I think I'm an artist, but I don't know what kind of artist I am. So I started thinking, oh, maybe I can paint. Maybe I'm a painter. And I did painting, and I thought, no, I'm not a painter. That's really bad. Like, I work in an art gallery.
Great that you've tried all these things.
No, I did. Yeah. I work at an art gallery. My paintings are bad. Yeah. These are not good. I can't do that. And so I thought, makeup artist. So when I worked at DreamWorks, I knew a bunch of makeup artists. I'm like, oh, and I like putting makeup on my friends. But I realized, oh no, that's a tough business. I talked to my friend. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I have the stamina for that. Interior design. No, I don't want to travel. So I started taking jewelry class in Santa Monica that I heard of. And like from the very first class, so how I work with jewelry, how I learned is like, it's like miniature sculptures in wax. So it's like because everyone makes jewelry differently. Yeah. And for me, the way I first learned is you basically build, it's called lost wax. So it's like an ancient, type of way of making jewelry, where you build up the wax, like you heat it up, you build it up, and then you sculpt away, and then you create like beautiful pieces. So when I first started, I thought, wow, this is so cool, I love it, and everything that I made looked like a blob. I was like, oh, well, this is like horrible, but I realized, like, okay, Joy, you just started. You're not going to be like Leonardo da Vinci or like anything like that, or Michelangelo.
You're like, it's only uphill from here.
Exactly, right? But so I took classes there, and that's how I just began my journey. Then I ended up apprenticing the designer there, and then I ended up having my pieces in the store. And and then I from there just did trade shows and all the things.
And you were how old at that time?
So I believe I'm trying to think. I was probably 27.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. 27.
See, that's why people think that like when you're in your young 20s, you have to have it all figured out. Or when people ask the question like, what do you want to be? I don't freaking know. I need to try some stuff. Yeah. Like, let me try some things and knock them off
I didn't even know that I wanted to be an artist.
Yeah.
Until it just came to me that that's what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I just knew that I had a desire to create something beautiful for the world. Yeah. Like, that's it.
But the great thing too is that you knew that when you made your first piece, it was like, oh, you know what? Maybe this isn't so great, but it's okay. It's my first day. It's my first class. It's my first piece, and it's going to just get better from here.
Yeah. I didn't even know if it was going to get better from there.
You're like, let's hope. Let's hope.
Yeah, let's hope. I was like, let me just like try this and see. But it took me working at the store. Yeah. Because I took a little like break because I was still working at the art gallery. But it took me a while working at the store and having to like create jewelry for the store. That it was like a training thing. And then seeing, because he would allow us to have pieces there. So then seeing, the customers come in and interact with the pieces that you made, and how much that, it meant to them, then that's when I start to realize, I'm like, oh, well, people do like what I'm making. And it makes them feel good. Yeah.
Well, how did you feel when you sold your first piece? Like, what was that feeling?
Oh my God. I was like, I couldn't even like contain myself. Yeah. And I actually sold it to the person.
Are you serious? So, did you tell them that you were the designer?
Yeah, I told them I was a designer. I said, I made this, and I was like trying not to like be crazy.
Do you know what I mean? And then cry and be so like, I'm so grateful.
Yeah,
thank you.
Exactly. I was like, no, Joy, just like be calm. Like you don't want to think. Yeah, you don't want to think this person like like thinks that you're strange. Yeah. But like I was so excited, and it made me like that's when like obviously you don't have to sell anything to be something or whatever. Like it's just the act of creation that makes you what you are. But I have to say that gave me a lot of like being valid, like in the work that I was doing, and that, you know, I could do this. Like people resonate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could make a living off of this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure yet. I was like, okay, you know, but I thought, it definitely opened the door for me thinking that this is something that I could make a business out of, for sure. Yeah.
Were there times when you doubted yourself in business?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, first of all, business is not easy.
No, you need some cojones to have a business.
For me, like creative work is, I'm so grateful. It just comes naturally to me, I have to say. And that's why I knew that this is what I was supposed to do. With any creative work, I just knew that I was supposed to be an artist because I always have inspiration. Like when people go, oh, like, how do you come up with your inspiration? Or how do you, like, I don't, like, it just comes. Like, I'm so, like, I sit down and I just open myself up and, like, it just immediately. Yeah.
So take me on a process. If you're going to create a piece, like, do you have, like, okay, you sit down, you download,
So it's so interesting because maybe, creation might be different for different people. But when I create, everyone asks me, do you sketch? Do you do this? Like, I don't do any of that. Because I've tried and it doesn't work out. I never do anything of sketch, like what the sketch is, nothing. So
like,
I realized,
I can't draw,
like,
so.
that's not my process. So I basically just sit down at my desk and just start working, right? I just start working and I basically, you know, I have this ritual now where I do Palo Santo. Like, I just want to clear the space before I actually sit down and do anything. So I'll say some meditation prayers and stuff like that, and I'll like clear the space, and I have my chimes, which you know about, and I just kind of like ground myself, and then I allow myself to sit down, and I just start working with the wax. I have no idea what's going to come out of it, and something eventually does. And I think for me, it's like channeling for me is being clear with no thoughts. Because then I don't have any like, I'm not judging myself. I'm just letting everything
just
come
letting
through.
It come through and flow.
And not, and when I'm creating, I get into a different like place, in a different zone. I don't even know what's going on.
Do you feel like you have to be home alone? Because I get my best work when I'm home alone.
Oh, yeah. Luckily, my husband works upstairs, so I'm downstairs in my studio. And I have to be alone. Like, I can't.
I have nobody talking to me.
I can't. I can't have, like, I don't have anyone talking to me. I play music sometimes and things like that. But no, and then all of a sudden, a form comes, like, you know, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. And then I start going from there. And then it turns out to be, all my designs are like my first 10 pieces were all organic. And so, so I really feel like these pieces that I designed, they have meaning to them. And like one of my pieces is called like Rays of Light. And so it literally is like, I'll show you a photo. I mean, I painted it now. Now I'm a painter. Like, because that came to me.
You're forever evolving.
Like painting came to me during COVID. But it's called Rays of Light, and basically the stone in the center, the diamond, represents us. And there's rays that are around it. And so after I create the piece, I look at it and I ask, like, what is this? You know? And it comes to me, it's like, you are a ray of light. And so it's basically you as a ray of light, and it is like expansive. So I want to share with you these things. This is what I've decided. I just came to this. This is the first time I'm ever sharing this.
Okay.
I thought, well, what a lovely time to share it with you. Because everyone always tells me how, like, they don't know what it is about my pieces, that they just feel like divinity and God and like in the work that I do and the beauty. And it's like, so my whole thing is about creating divinity and beauty. Like when you look at my pieces, I want you to feel God, you know? And so it came to me seriously that I needed to paint my work and then really channel like the message that are supposed to be meant for it. So this is a rays of light. That's an actual ring that I made.
Wow.
But I painted it. And then this is my light above, light below ring.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah,
I like this.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna make like a deck of cards at some point, and then have like channeled messages. So then, because I feel that everyone always asks me about my work, and I feel like, you know, I should paint this and channel.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna read to you a little channeled message of my rays of light. So this is something that I just feel Spirit comes through me. You know, when I think about the jewelry that I make. So that rays of light. So I am a ray of light. I shine bright in the darkness. I am the flame that gives inspiration. I am a gift for all to see. The light shines upon me always in great strength, never to be put out. May my rays expand and stretch out into the universe. I am a light in the darkness, a diamond of God shining facets of love. So I'm gonna do this with like all my pieces.
Beautiful.
And make a little like either a book or cards or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just recently started getting into cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that could also be just like a gift for, you know, the people who have really followed me and my work and like all that stuff. So I thought, oh, and I love this, like, and I love channeling.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it just makes, I don't know, just makes me feel grounded and present, and like I feel like the divine inside of myself working through me, and like that's my goal. My goal is just to create the divinity and beauty, because I really believe like when we see beautiful things, like it doesn't have to be perfect, but like there's even beauty in things that are like, you know, not so great to look at.
Yeah.
That there is the presence of like God in there. So yeah.
When did you start channeling?
So I started channeling basically when I started creating jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah. But I verbally or like written down channeling.
Yeah.
I didn't start doing that until probably right before we moved to Hawaii.
Wow.
Yeah.
So only like maybe 6
I didn't start
years
like
ago-ish?
I didn't start like writing things out.
Yeah.
And then that's just like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I think because of the crisis of COVID,
Right, yeah.
I again needed like
See, there's
something.
there's even beauty in COVID.
Yeah,
Because it
right?
makes some people just, to tune into themselves.
Yeah, I had to
and,
like, I thought I was not going to have a business.
Yeah, everybody, yeah.
I was like, okay, I can't work. Like, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
So that's how I actually discovered that I can paint. Like, I don't even know where it came from. Like,
But it's beautiful because it gave us a moment to pause.
yeah.
And just to be like, pause and stop everything. And there's no place to go. There's no place to be, but just pause and be with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like very scary.
Yeah.
But like I had to say, that brought me to a different type of like artist and place and spirit within myself.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden I thought, because I really thought I can't work. So what am I going to do now? I just started to paint. And all of a sudden I started painting like faces and all this stuff. I'm like, why couldn't I have done this before? But like, I think it's because, I don't know, like I had a block.
Yeah, maybe.
Or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that journey. And this is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, so now you have your pieces. Okay, so take me on your business journey.
Okay.
So your pieces are, I know, at Kona Village.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yes.
so awesome.
I was so, first of all, that resort is, I mean, it was beautiful before they redid it.
Yeah, they did the remodel recently.
The remodel is incredible. Like, it is next level. But also, aside from being a beautiful resort, there is something like the mana in the place.
Yeah.
You know, like you just feel, I don't know, like very, even I took my daughter with me and she's like, you just feel different.
Yeah.
There's something there for sure. Like, and so, luckily my friend worked for someone who at Rosewood Hotels. And she said, oh, I showed my friend your work and they're opening up like the resort at Kona Village and she really loves it and they want to set up a meeting for you to fly over there to see your work. I said, oh, great. So I flew over there, I met with the buyer and they're like, no, we love it, perfect. And they bought.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Isn't it beautiful how some things just like fall right in, like just line up. It just lines up with your, with what you're doing.
Yeah.
But that's part of being open.
Yes. Like,
that's part of being open. That's part of also continuing on your own path, on what you feel that you're meant to do. And for you, it was like to tune into your now, to tune into yourself and be like, I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Can you imagine if you're still at DreamWorks?
No.
Right?
I probably have like less hair. Like, I don't know.
Less hair, panic attacks all day long.
Panic attacks all day long. Like, who knows?
You know who you'd be like, that one person that you said was your boss?
Oh, yeah. I know. Seriously, like the eye twitching, I was like, I don't think I want that. Mind you, people love being entertainers. I just knew, for my soul, that wasn't gonna work.
Yeah.
That was like gonna kill it.
Oh, it's not easy. My whole family's in the film industry.
Yeah.
My mom, dad, husband, cousins, aunties, uncle, like the whole shebang. There's very few of us who aren't in the film industry, but it's your life. It takes up your whole life, basically.
Your whole life. And I think that obviously people are very talented, like agent men, but I just knew for myself that wasn't my path. Right? Yeah. That wasn't my path to take. But discovering that I was an artist later on, I had no idea.
Yeah. That wasn't even on your radar.
Not on my radar.
Yeah.
Only thing that I did know is that I was obsessed with painters and their stories and like Picasso, more of like their dedication to their craft, diehard artists.
Yes.
And my favorite artist, his name is Balthus, and I loved his work because he had a relationship with the divine. And to him, he said that when he creates art, those are prayers. And he devotes his whole life to the artistry and the divinity and the prayers that come through him. And I was like, that's totally me. That's how I feel about my work. I get emotional because it's true.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, what advice would you give to someone, because you had many different paths and you're like, not this, not this, not this. Was there ever a point that you're just like, now what? Or did you just always kind of have that drive? Was like, oh, well, I checked it off the list. That's not it. I'm going to try something completely new. Or what advice would you give to someone who is going through it and trying all the different things, but it's just like, should I just stick with this because this is safe?
Well, I don't know where I heard this or I read it. I can't remember. But someone or read said, when you're in a bookstore, where do you find yourself? And I always found myself in art or religion, or not even religion, spirituality.
Okay.
Right? And so I thought, wow, that's so interesting now that I look back, because that is the work that I'm doing. I love art. I love painting. When I have multi-millions of dollars, I'm going to be a patron of the arts. I already am. I already buy some of my friends artwork.
Yeah.
Because I just believe in the soul of art and how it can really change the lives of people looking at art, being even film or anything like that. Art.
Yeah.
And then spirit. So I would say, like, what are you obsessed with? Where would you find?
But that's a good question.
Right?
If you're in a bookstore, where do you find yourself? And start there.
Yeah. I mean, you might find yourself like, oh, how is this going to turn into a job?
Yeah.
But you don't know. There's something, I think, that where you find yourself, there's something there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like something is
So start
there.
to tune into that.
Yeah.
Like start to feel like what is in that area, like
Yeah.
if it's in cooking
Yeah.
or spirituality, like
Yeah.
okay, what about that you
Yeah.
love so much, and just start to dig deep.
Yeah, start to dig deep in why am I so interested in this?
Yeah.
And even if it's like, oh, it's a romance novels or whatever, but maybe there's like something in there, like
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe you could be a therapist.
Yeah,
a relationship therapist or what, a family therapist. Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I would say.
So with the fast-paced world today, like how do you stay grounded?
Well, I'm so grateful I live here because the ocean helps me stay grounded. Well, that's
so
one of the
healing.
ways.
Yeah.
Right? When I moved here, okay, I am originally from Los Angeles. I live very close to beaches, like Venice Beach. I never went to the beach. Like, I mean, it's cold, right?
Oh yeah, very cold.
I know, but when we moved here, like it's just a different experience.
Yeah.
Like so,
the ocean is so healing. Like you go into the ocean with your body, and you just
just float on my back.
Yeah. In the sun.
Oh, it's just like that. Definitely. So when I feel that I'm like out of sorts, I just want to get into the water.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not a good swimmer.
Yeah.
I just like go in the waves, like the shore, like,
Stay in Waikiki area where it's kind of mellow.
That's exactly. Stay in Waikiki area. Like that's what I do. I just float in the water. So that's one way. And then also in the morning before I check my social media and all that stuff, I basically stay in bed, close my eyes, and I do visualizations of, I say a specific prayer, and then I do visualizations, and then I get up, and then I go downstairs, walk the dog, then come back, and I do my chimes with like a certain like Archangel Michael spray for like protection. And then I light Palo Santo to clear the space, and I sit down and I continue with other prayers that I have. And then I have a contract with like the divine. I just did this.
Okay.
Where I heard somebody, this rapper, Big Sean. He was on a podcast.
Tupac.
Yeah. This rapper, Big Sean. And he said, hey, he's like, this works. Write a contract with God, the divine, whatever you want, the universe.
Yeah.
And like, write it out and like sign it in like an unbreakable bond.
Wow.
And so I wrote a contract with God about how I would be of service to humanity, and and like with the gifts that I have.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I promised it.
Yeah.
So.
And do you feel like that keeps your gifts staying strong?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when I know that I have my unbreakable bond now, so I have to do it.
Yeah.
Like.
I
have to.
It's a contract.
Yeah, it's a contract.
Yeah.
Contract with the universe.
Yeah.
That's like big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's your morning ritual.
Yeah.
Do you have an evening ritual? Because I'm big into rituals, because I'm starting to get my rituals down.
I do.
Yeah.
My husband makes fun of me.
My husband too.
He doesn't make fun of me. He just kind of is like, oh, you're in the way. Like, so basically because we're in the living room.
Yeah.
And he's like, and this is what I say about rituals. You don't have to have perfect environment.
Yeah.
Right? My husband's watching like Family Guy in the background. But I have a ritual where I always make tea.
Okay.
And then I take my tea and I sit it down and then I do stretching. So then it tells my body it's time to like relax.
Okay.
And I stretch and I like do that. And then I sit down with my tea and I just like unwind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that tells my body, okay, it's time to like go to sleep.
It's time to shut down.
Yeah, it's time to shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love it. I'm a very ritualistic person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are
thing,
your
though.
rituals, though?
Well, for me, it's like in the morning, like I like to wake up. I like to just stay in bed for a little bit, and I like to just feel whatever is coming to me in those moments instead of jumping right on my phone. And I try not to even sleep with the phone in the bedroom. I try to just keep it out in the kitchen. Good. Yeah. But I think it's just about like just closing my eyes and just kind of like being like, okay, I'm just open. Yeah. Like what messages need to come through or yeah, I have that. And then, I just have a couple other things. I like to make my latte. I like to go out in the sun. I like to be by myself for like a little bit. And most of the time my husband's at work early in the morning. Yeah. So yeah. I
think it's important. It kind of like gets you set for the day.
Totally. Yeah.
And then in the evening it gets you set for like calming down.
Yeah. And I can't watch, like, I don't want to watch the news. I can't watch all the things. I basically watch the news. Good. Yeah. Like if a storm is coming, I'm like, okay, how much time do I have? Like, but that's pretty much it. Other than that, I'm like, I just can't listen to all that stuff.
Yeah. I learned, because my mom used to watch a lot of the local news. Yeah. I learned I cannot watch local news because it stresses you out. It stresses you out, and it gives you something that I learned in school and communications. It gives you mean world syndrome. So basically, if you're always watching scary stuff on the news or whatever, you start to go out to the world thinking everything is scary and people are mean and all this stuff. Yeah. So,
Wow. Well, thank you so much for being here.
You're so welcome. I had the best time.
Bring out those chimes.
I know. Wait, yes, bring out the chime.
There we go. I loved it. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you like this episode, please share it with a friend, tag us, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Sorry, scratch. What camera? I'm looking at that? Okay. I just moved the chair. Is that a problem? No. Okay. I did it by accident. Okay, well, I'm Joy Smith. Like, maybe you need to sit somewhere else. Like, it's like all I think is because, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't help but, like, look at her.
I don't know if we can get through this.
We're going to get through it. It's going to be good. Okay. Who I am today. My journey on becoming who I am today as Joy. Okay, I feel like I'm doing like outtakes. Okay, now it's like coming to me. It's coming. It's okay. I get like the more that we like talk, it's like coming to me. Okay, it's gonna happen.